When the clock strikes the 12th hour, and the veil between worlds grows gossamer thin, there is an ancient song whispered among the living. But this hymn, my lovelies, is not meant for mortal ears. Gather around, children of the bleak. Let me tell you of Eleanor Duval, an opera singer once famed for her voice, said to reduce even the stoniest of hearts to tears. But fame, as you well know, has its cost. And Eleanor paid dearly. Or did she? Though she dazzled the stages of Paris, London, and Vienna, her end came in a way even her most stunning aria could not foretell. Her final performance was for a sparsely filled theater, a charity recital for a wealthy benefactor. She sang all of her classics. The crowd applauded politely. That is, until her closing number, the Lacrimosa Veil. It was a piece said to stir souls into restless dreams, rumored to have been written by a composer who mysteriously vanished. Eleanor had reservations, naturally. The composition hadn't been performed in nearly a century. Still, she was coaxed into it after her manager, greedy, desperate, assured her it would revive careers long buried. Oh, if only she'd chosen silence instead. As she began the first note, the air itself seemed to cave in. The chandeliers swayed without wind. Shadows lengthened unnaturally. It was then, my darling onlookers, that something savage and beautiful broke free of the song, a resonance that seemed to call not to her audience, but far beyond. Have you ever been somewhere, alone, and then felt your senses deceive you? A fleeting scent of lilacs in an empty room, a voice that speaks your name in a crowded street, but no one claims it. Multiply that by 1,000-fold, and you might just scrape the surface of the dread Eleanor conjured. By the hymn's final chord, the theater was changed. The velvet seats decayed to threads, chandeliers hung broken at odd angles, and where the patrons had sat, they were no longer themselves. Shall I say it plainly? Each one had become a shadow puppet animated by invisible strings. Their waxy faces locked in expressions too dreadful to name. Unable to stand, yet unable to fall. It was as if they were held by something unseen, something delighted by their torment. Eleanor froze. Can you picture it? Her gloved hand trembling as the microphone amplified an empty hiss, and then she heard applause. Oh no, not from those lost souls trapped in living death, from backstage. But there was no crew left alive. Had she summoned her own audience from the spectral beyond? She staggered to the dressing room. And here, my beauties, is where the macabre takes a sharper turn. For on the vanity, scrawled in crimson lipstick, were the words, "You've been heard." Behind her, the room-length mirror darkened not with her reflection, but a long corridor lined with countless others staring back at her. Perhaps they were waiting. Perhaps they still are. Eleanor was found days later, disheveled and mute, on the cobblestone streets near the theater. When asked about the hymn, she could only hum a single line of it before bursting into tears. The audience? Never seated in a theater again. Their last performance, I'm afraid, was that evening. And now, lovelies, let me leave you with this bitter seed to plant in your mind's fertile soil. The score to the Lacrimosa Veil was lost again that night, or so they say. But rumors have a funny way of surviving, don't they? They claim that should you hear the hymn humming from the depths of an empty attic or antique music box, you must cover your ears and flee. For who can say which realm will claim you as its next encore? Sleep well tonight, my darling creatures, and may you hear only melodies meant for this side of the veil. Until next we meet in Shadow's embrace.